What's up, guys? Welcome to One Realm Podcast. I'm your host, Diego, alongside my co-host, Thomas.
What's up, guys?
And, of course, we're continuing our series of talking about every Mortal Kombat game in the main series, not counting, say, Shaolin Monks. And though maybe we'll get to that
We,
afterwards.
yeah, so we're actually doing. I think we're gonna do like every piece, not just games wise, but I think we kind of want to do like timeline wise. So
Yeah.
after we do this one, we can either A go to four or B talk about the first movie again.
Yeah, I guess we could, well, we'll discuss
Uh,
that afterwards, yeah. And,
yeah.
anyway, this episode is going to be all about Mortal Kombat 3. And, of course, as you probably know, there's three versions of it. There's the original, there's Ultimate MK3, and then there's MK Trilogy. I guess we'll kind of just talk about Ultimate MK3, I guess, because it's kind of the definitive version of it. It's the one that you always find in arcade collections, but we will, kind of talk about what was different in the original version and stuff like that. It's kind of like the definitive edition, like that you would see nowadays. So, um,
hmm
I guess as we always do, let's go ahead and discuss, or at least talk about our first experience with the game. And last time you started, so I'll go ahead and start off this time. Um,
hmm
much like MK2, MK3 was a game that I played very very little as a kid, but once the arcade collection came out on the Xbox 360, I played a lot more of it. And I'm not going to say that port was particularly good. I just feel like there were a lot of glitches with it, like the audio glitches were terrible. But I actually played the single release that came out for it as well. I didn't play it as much on the arcade collection, but I did play that one quite a bit. And yeah, Ultimate MK3, I feel like if you're dumping into it in 2020, it's one of the better games you can play among the first four. I would probably say probably the best one. Um, but yeah, like my first experience is basically, as a little kid, playing it a little bit. I remember it a lot more than MK2. Most importantly, because I remember the two characters that were hidden on the select screen. So I more or less remember the select screen more than I remember anything else. I also remember Cyrax being in the background in the Wastelands level stage. And I remember being like super confused about Shang Tsung, why the hell he looked like that. I remember wondering what the hell Striker was. And other than that, that's pretty much all I have about my very, very first memories. I guess when it comes to playing it later on, my first memories as an adult, um, yeah, I basically remember it because it was when I was really starting to get back into Mortal Kombat, really starting to get hyped up. There was a period between Deception and basically MK9 because of course DC was shit. Armageddon wasn't a great game. Um, there was a period where I wasn't as hyped up as I previously was, or especially as I am nowadays, or up until 2011. So this was kind of like the renaissance, I guess you can kind of say, or the second phase of my Mortal Kombat fandom. What about you?
hmm Well, MK3 I played as the next thing I mind you guys, I'm born in '97, so none of these games are even out yet until the next one, which is four. Until that's when I'm born finally. But I played MK3 the same way I played MK2. It was vanilla MK3, keep in mind. And that was off of the Midway collection. So it wasn't just more combat collection like we got off the Xbox 360, but it's the one you can buy from from your game store, and it'll have a bunch of just arcade games. It had Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, not 1 and 2, 2 and 3. It had Rampage. Galaga, I want to say was one of them. I can't, don't quote me on that one. But it's not a lot of games you can play from, but the only one I actually did play was Gauntlet and Mortal Kombat 2. Because the same, the same reason why a lot of people don't like MK2, there was no ninjas. Like, pretty much like the character, the vanilla MK3, the roster is like, eh. I mean, I'll play it, but do I really want to play it?
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's definitely a
on
reaction a lot of people had.
not just like vanilla MP3, so that's why I never cared for it. Now later on in life, I found out that there was an MK Ultimate, which is where I think that's where I actually heard play a little bit more, which was around 2013. Because after MK9, Oh, before MKX. At some point in that Injustice 1 period. After I played it for a little bit, I didn't care for it. I can make it easily up to Shao Kahn. I just haven't beat Shao Kahn yet, so
Oh,
that's
to
on my
this day you
list
haven't
of
beaten
things
him.
to accomplish. Oh yeah, no, look, I've never beaten none of the bosses besides Sing Song, and that's with a 3-man effort. So I'll claim that one still. Um, I've never beaten none of the original bosses from the first three trilogy. Now I've beaten the future ones, every single one of them, but I've never beaten Shao Kahn on two, Shao Kahn on three, or yeah, but I beat Sing Song though. I can do that much.
Okay, so yeah, so your experience with the original trilogy is kind of, like you, of course you played them at an older age, and once you play them at that kind of age, you're just kind of playing the game that's not really all that playable, I guess you could say, from just like a gameplay point of view. Um, yeah, like you bring up an interesting point, like how you only beat Shang Tsung. I remember in the arcade collection there was an achievement on, of course, on the Xbox 360. There was, of course, beat MK1, beat MK2, and then beat the entire trilogy. Have it all three main bosses beaten in the trilogy. I'm pretty sure I have that unlocked. So I have to go and check. Maybe I'll do that later. Um, but I know for a fact, if you want to get easy wins against Shao Kahn, just play the mobile version. I'm pretty sure it's probably still on iOS. I don't know if it was ever on Google Play Store, but I know on
It's not the same though.
yeah,
You
I
know
know
that.
it's not quite the same because it was super easy. It was like super cheese the way you could just basically finesse them and getting to the corner and just uppercut the shit out of them. And of course, if you just use Scorpion, you could just spear him constantly, and the AI was pure shit in the port. So. Um, but yeah, it was definitely very, very difficult to get to Shao Kahn. I guess we can just kind of take this into the gameplay side of things since we're kind of talking about beating Shao Kahn and getting
Mhm.
to him. I feel like this was definitely a big step forward in terms of gameplay. You agree with that, right?
Oh yeah,
I
they actually
mean,
had a combo system that. So here's the thing. That's not just using the special moves. There was no combo system until three.
essentially all
Because
you
I
could do
remember,
previously was fly kick, trip, roundhouse, spam, that bullshit. Yeah, and that's pretty much all you could do. Oh, you can uppercut. That's it.
upgrade took a lot of life out, so that's
Uh,
not a bad thing to have.
It was efficient but repetitive.
But no, what I was saying, I mean though, is um. So I remember even when, if you look at Deception, they have the little combat cards by each character,
Yeah.
at least the original characters, at least. Um, they Ed Boon's talking about literally watch people come up with the tie combos. And the thing is with that is, yeah, you can come up with them, but it's like all they had was um, like really special moves to go off of. And hers only worked because of the fact that she can at least, I think she's like the first character to actually juggle characters. So that's what I mean though. Like
Yeah.
that was the really only combos if you like use their special moves in a way that kind of led in something.
Yeah, and this you could do
But
combos with just regular moves and all that stuff.
exactly. Well, you press a certain. It's not just any regular move. It's like you have to press a certain button so many times before you get a combo.
Yeah.
So, for example, XXY, that's a combo. XXA may not be a combo because it won't connect like that.
It's basically the combo system that you see in most games now, or at least the basic
Yeah.
combo system that you see in most games now. Yeah,
And then,
and then most importantly, I think the biggest thing about it was the change of pace. It was so much faster than
well,
MK1 and MK2. Not just in terms of the fact that you could run, but also just
that's
the
what I would say, like the
animations.
whole run button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was it just flowed so much better, was so much faster, and it felt like you were playing something that was a lot more well built and a lot and just a lot more. Um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Roll around it.
Yeah, everything just felt like a more complete package.
Well, they came out, like, it's literally the phrase where the third time's a charm because they had two other games to work on this for. Now it's like All they had to do is just put it together. Like MK1 was just a good game to change the fighting game genre. MK2 brought out a lot of badass colors and characters. MK3 brought out a good combo system, but it messed up the characters first round go around.
Yeah, definitely. The roster was definitely lacking.
Yeah, but I think gameplay wise, like it was great though. Like, but you had to. And this is where it came down to like you actually. And this is also 3 years of making games, so people knew what to expect, sort of. Not saying that the moves were the same or anything like that, but I'm saying like you knew exactly like this character does this, this, and this with occasionally a new move or so. So now it's like, all right, so this is what I need to do, and oh, it's a combo. You can write this down now once you learn the combos. It was still like the whole like cat and mouse game where like you don't know anything at first, but that's with any game. Well, except for the pro players, which I feel like they get the game 3 months in advance before you even announced. But we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, that's a different issue.
But but even like with the beta, for example, with new betas,
Sorry, what?
the only way, sorry, say like with the new age betas,
Oh,
because
okay, sorry.
the only way you can really get good at a game if you randomly get your friend that you know, like me, for example, the only way that you could actually practice MKX or Injustice 2 would have been if we would have got each other on a match and we just kept rematching it so we can actually practice with this character and get better. Other than that, there's no really true way to to be good at the game at a super fast pace unless the game is just super easy. When the game's super easy, who wants to play it?
Yeah, yeah. You bring up some really really good points. Yeah, I feel like you said, man, this game was it just felt great. Everything about it was really good, and like you said, the word of mouth
Minus
thing
the
was still a
roster.
thing. Minus what?
The roster.
Yeah, that's for sure. But they luckily they
I
fixed
mean,
it with the ultimate
oh yeah.
version.
But here's the thing. So roster wise, we have. And let's go ahead and name everyone we have off of Vanilla MK real quick.
Okay, hold on. Do you have it
So
pulled up? The exact list?
I'm actually. Let me get it. I think I had it just a second ago. Let me see if I can get it. Just the
Yeah,
regular MK3, not
I think I could
Ultimate.
probably get it off the top of my head, but I don't want to.
Got it.
Yes.
Oh, no, had it. Sorry. When you're on your phone, it's like these MK2 and MK3 are literally right next to each other on MK Warehouse. Mortal Kombat Warehouse.
Yeah, and it's all old stuff, so it's kind of hard to navigate through a lot of this stuff sometimes.
So you have Sing Sung, Sindel, Jax, Kano, Liu Kang, Sonya, Striker, Smoke, who's a hidden character, Sub Zero, Cyrax, Sector, Nightwolf, Shiva, Kung Lao, Cabal, Mitaro, New Cybot as a secret character, and Shao Kahn.
Yep. So of course Scorpion's missing.
Oh yeah,
Yep. So
Scorpion's missing, Radiant's missing,
yep.
Baraka's missing.
Yeah. So basically, when you first pop it on, like you're missing a ton of the classic characters, especially Raiden and Scorpion. Those are the two that pop into mind. Of course, you're missing Johnny Cage as well. So some of the mainstays of the series, and you see these like you see Cyrax and Sector, and you're just kind of like, is that Scorpion? Who the fuck's the
Yeah,
red guy? So I think that's kind of like a Total MK. He tells it the best. Like when he first, because he was old enough to play in the arcades where he was, I think he was like a teenager or something like that, early teen, something like that. And he always says he used to go to the arcade, and the first time he popped it in, pause, he he saw Cyrax on there, and he was like, "What the fuck, man?" He's Australian. He's like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck is this? Is that fucking Scorpion?" And I was like, "All right." And then of course he popped it on. He had no moves like Scorpion. I guess the most similar thing would be the net, but that there's really nothing because that doesn't make any sense to be similar to Scorpion. So I don't
I
know.
think I think like the I think that now since that did bring them closer to you. I think that's the closest thing, but even then,
Yeah, that's a
if
real that's
anything,
a stretch.
Smoke was more like Scorpion than
Yeah,
Cyrex was.
that's for sure. Yeah. And of course, Smoke was hard to get, and especially in an arcade, you wouldn't necessarily get him to. It wouldn't be too easy to find him. But yeah, it was just like I feel like roster wise, once Ultimate MK3 was a thing, then it was perfectly fine. It's still missing Johnny Cage, still missing Raiden, etc. But those they do come into Trilogy. But I just kind of feel like Ultimate MK3 is kind of the definitive version because Trilogy, is of course the first two games and all that stuff included. It's basically the entire roster of the trilogy, whereas this is just MK3 boosted up a bit. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to gameplay, not just fatalities and stuff like that, but the fact that certain stages, there wasn't only one stage where if you uppercut them, you actually go to different levels of the stage. Remember that?
From my memory, it's 2 or 3
Two or
stages.
three? Okay. I can only remember the
So I
one.
know, so I know the not the cathedral, but let's see what's this one called. The parallax goes to the rooftop. Rooftop.
Okay.
Um, I do know on so now I'm vanilla MK3, but um, on Ultimate MK3 there is from Scorpions another room to Shao Kahn's Thorn Room. I know this. I feel like there's one more too. I feel like so no. I think the cathedral takes you to the rooftop, and the parallax takes you out to the street. I'm gonna try to remember. Damn.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably right. Yeah.
but I know there's 3 though.
The subway was that one? No, I don't think so. No, subway.
No,
I don't
maybe.
think so. But regardless, those were I always thought those were kind of a pretty cool addition, right? Like, I mean, they weren't something that we've ever seen again, and I think that where I guess technically we have in say like the 3D era where you would send
Injustice.
people go flying, yeah. But like
Yeah.
we never really seen something exactly like that where you just knock them up and they're on the next floor or something like that. I always thought that was pretty cool, pretty innovative, and just an interesting little visual. Um, and when it comes to fatalities, this game had a shit ton of them. I mean, there was fatalities, there were babalities, there were
No, not
brutal,
Bay Valley.
not babalities,
It
friendships. I
was
want to say we have friendships, mercies, brutalities. That's four. Animalities 5.
yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there
And
was
everyone had 2 fatalities though.
yeah. So, but there was a shit ton you
Two
could do.
fatalities. Yeah, so 2 fatalities, 1 friendship. Mercy doesn't count because you need to do mercy to do animality, and then you need to do the brutality. That's the other one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was total of 5.
So yeah. So there was a ton of different finishes you can do. Of course, a lot of the animalities were still pretty stupid. Like Scorpion becomes a penguin. It doesn't make any sense, but they were still funny, and at least they had their
I
thing,
mean,
especially in the
reptile
'90s.
becomes a monkey.
Yeah, like all right, that was
Shiva
clearly on
becomes,
purpose though. That was like one of the only troll ones.
but so do we want to go over the characters real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, let's kick us
All
off.
right. So yeah, give me 1 second. Because like I said, we don't go over the characters that are in the last game. We talk about their stories included, but uh, so starting now from the top, actually. Well, literally the first new character is pretty much what the story is all revolving around Sindel. So with that being said, let's go ahead and read her bio.
Here, you have
She,
it popped up or
yeah, I do now.
okay?
She once ruled our world at Shao Kahn's side as his queen. Now, 10,000 years after her untimely death, she is reborn on Earth. Her evil intent is every match for Shao Kahn's tyranny. She is the key to his occupation of Earth.
Yeah, and keep in
So
mind
pretty much with
this isn't butchered like MK9. That this is completely different. So if you never played MK3, MK9 completely fucked this stuff up. Just keep that in mind. All right, go ahead.
well, that's pretty much going off of that. Going off of that being said, he not he. Well, yeah, Sindel is resurrected in Earthrealm this time around because if his queen is alive somewhere else. So actually, let's get into the whole backstory. So she is the mother of Katana, and Melina is her clone daughter, I guess. But because she's the mother of Katana, she felt bad for what she would that her husband that everything that happened. Her husband's dead. Um, she was pretty much taken by Shao Kahn as his wife, and she ended up killing herself. So this isn't a nice gesture that she did to save the world. She does it because she is selfish and she's depressed. And yes, depression is a serious thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's not. What I am saying though is you hear the same time with every time someone could take someone's life. That's not fair because now you're just leaving everyone else in your life full of pain as well. So that's my point being. Like, so luckily Katana was young enough so she had to deal with that, but if she was the same, if Katana was like, as old as they portray her in the comics, then yeah, it kind of always very looked at selfish. I don't think she'll have the same love for her mother that she would. So, and her killing herself kind of helps Shao Kahn in two ways. One, now Katana doesn't have to ask why he can pretty much like Katana for her whole life like he did. And two, instead of letting her soul go to the afterlife and be with her husband, he captured her soul for this exact reason. So, putting her soul and resurrecting her in Earthrealm sets it up for him to have full right and authority to come to Earthrealm to pick up his wife. So it was a very smart plan, and it took 10,000 years for him to execute it. But he's like, "This is my go-to if something goes wrong." And when she was resurrected, she was evil. So, of course, someone being depressed, they don't want when they wake them back up. It's like, oh, I'm still married to you? Fuck that. Like, no. Mind control helps that as well.
Indeed, it does. And of course, it leads
Okay.
to basically all the events of MK3, the entire invasion and all that stuff. So it was a very interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the finer pieces of storytelling because it really gave us a much bigger idea of what the grand scheme of things was. I just feel like it gave us a really broad idea of the backstory, not just of Sindel, but also Shao Kahn, all the stuff that really went down there, and I think it was really really good.
Yeah. It was a nice, it was a nice thing.
Unfortunately,
That nice piece of
yeah,
storytelling.
we'll talk about
We're not
that
going to talk
later on.
about it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So next we have Curtis Stryker. Now, funny story about him, actually. I was listening to the Sony retrospective recently, and so remember how I told you that Sony was supposed to be Jax?
Yeah.
Well, I was half right. Sonya was originally supposed to be a black man named Curtis Stryker. So she was supposed to be the mixture of Jackson and Stryker.
Okay. I definitely didn't know
Yeah,
any of this.
yeah. So I learned that recently. And Stryker, so they ended up making the black guy Jax and made Stryker a cop. So regardless, they're going to use Curtis Stryker as some point of law enforcement. Regardless, like he's going to be a law guy. We know that much.
Yeah.
But not the woman law person and not the black law guy.
The
Excuse me.
only,
Wow.
no problem, bless you. The only thing that was set in stone was that he was going to exist in one way or
Yes.
another. Yeah, and I don't know, like I feel like he was of all the characters in the game, he was by far the most out of place. Like if you just look at him, and that's not necessarily from just because of the character himself. That's just because of the way he looked. He just looked like this chunky New York cop wearing a hat
Exactly.
backward.
That's the thing. It was. It would have been one thing if he was like fit, like the new A striker is, like actually has muscles and
Yeah,
doesn't look like Paul. What is Paul Blart, Malcolm?
Paul
I don't
Blart
know,
Mall
but
Cop. Yeah,
still, yeah, that's
Kevin
literally what he
James.
looks like almost.
Basically, yeah.
But like even when you look at the sprites on there, like it's just all it just looks bad. From his motion to his running, it's just terrible. Like I'll send pictures of this later. Also, his animality, by the way, was a T-Rex,
Yeah. Made no fucking sense, man. This,
and his one of his fatalities was to taser someone to death.
yeah. He was
But
clearly a
okay,
joke.
so well, let's see, because this is what his bio says. When the Outworld portal opened over the large city of North America, New York, panic and chaos raged out of control. Curtis Stryker, wow, that's the K, really, was the leader of the riot control brigade when Shao Kahn began taking souls. He finds himself as the lone survivor in a city once populated by millions.
Indeed.
So this chubby fuck is the savior. Okay.
He's the GOAT. He's the
This
OG
is
Dairo.
literally this is literally the right spot for this is the right part to play a little song by Ariana Grande. Thank you. Now next, because it's a better character.
Shall we just go ahead and
Okay.
move on to a better character?
Yeah, that's literally what I'm doing. We're going to smoke. Okay. So Smoke Unit LK7 sorry, LK-72 is the third prototype of the Cyber Ninja built by the Lin Kuei. He tried to escape the automation process with his friend Sub-Zero, but was captured. His memory was stripped away, leaving him behind an emotionless killer. However, Sub-Zero believes that within the machine is a human soul trying to escape. So pretty much this is like like I mentioned before. It's like each game has like the best friend they've done the first three games. Well, no, not the first three games, but almost every main character has a best friend. So, and we came to a situation. Um,
Kung Lao?
it's Kung Lao, and Katana's is Jade, and like we said in the last one, and Sub Zero's is Smug. So while the main character gets all the glitz and glam and the glory, the best friend is like, "I got you back," and it's like, yeah, I would never do anything useful, but yeah.
At least he's there.
Now, a couple funny things real quick. At least they do have. No, they don't. They don't actually. They don't have the um, picture of his fatality on NK Warehouse. That's weird. But that being said, his animality though was first of all, his babality is a teal/slash green robot, not even purple. And
One of
his
them make no make
animality, guess what
sense.
his is?
A smoke.
Robot.
That's
hmm
right. Yeah.
So, what do you think of smoke? What do you think of animal wise?
I mean, I'm gonna have to go with a fucking bear. No, what was it?
I
What
mean,
was the
yes,
other
Smokey
game?
the Bear.
I can't remember what it was, man. What he turns into.
He's a bull.
A bull. That's right. Which makes. I mean, I guess technically, a bull does blow smoke out of their nose in cartoons. I mean, there's that, right?
There's literally like an image of him doing that too, right there before he runs.
I mean, that's one of the weird things. That's probably one of the only problems with this game is that the animalities were just completely
Random.
retarded.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so next character we have Cyrex. Okay. God damn it.
Cyrax, like despite people being pissed off when it turned out to not be Scorpion, I feel like Cyrax is definitely one of the most entertaining characters. He's one of my
Oh
favorites
no
in the
no.
game.
Oh no, I like him as a character. Don't get me wrong, but it's just I just looked at his animality too. So while I'm reading this, I want you to think about what you think of Cyrex. What do you think of? But Cyrex is Unit LK4-4D4, the second of three prototypes of the Cyber Ninja built by Lin Kuei. His counterpart, right, like his counterparts, his last program in command is to find the traitor and try and terminate the rogue ninja Sub-Zero. Without a soul, Cyrex goes undetected by Shao Kahn and remains a possible threat to his occupation of Earth. So pretty much it goes to this is where we come into a new age it's automatically assumed and determined that that Cyrex and the Lin Kuei always worked for Shao Kahn.
Mm-hmm.
Even in MK3, they didn't work for Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
Like they never did in any continuity um,
Until MK9.
Annihilation
Oh yeah,
and
Annihilation. Yeah,
9.
technically, yeah.
But that's all.
Yeah.
But and guess what his animality is?
I'm actually kind of pissed off. I don't remember any of this stuff. His
Well, I
Cyrax.
wouldn't know any of this stuff
I'm trying
either.
to
I'm
think.
just
It's not a
guessing.
Scorpion, right? Who was the Scorpion?
No, 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 he wasn't. But
Damn.
Cyrex was
He
a
was a.
great white shark.
That's right. He was a fish because you can catch him with a fishing net.
You are really stretching with this. Okay,
Dude, I got it. I got you.
but I guess Dell didn't have an animality, or at least not showing it. No, it shows she has one, but wait. Yeah, she was a wasp. I
Yeah.
guess they did like I guess queen bee or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's that's a stretch, but it works that one. That one works at least.
Yeah. You can find
Okay.
some ways for it to work.
All right. So next we have ketchup, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Sector.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't have names for them originally, they just called Tector and Cyrax ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
Which I I understand why, but it's like that's like some of the most laziest thing you could think of. Like you can literally see like spots where it actually says ketchup on the name tag, but I feel bad for who's the guy who played Kano? I'm trying to think.
Was it Richard Divisio that was in this game?
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So he played Kano in one, and he plays Baraka in three. I feel bad for him when he played his characters.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that he also plays Cyrex and Sector as well.
Uh, I
And
think so. Yeah.
he said those costumes were like the worst.
Yeah. Especially the Baraka costume.
Yeah. Well, Baraka costume was just a tight mask.
Yeah.
And they like put like fingernail teeth on there as well to make it look that way. But um other than that though, they just pretty much all they did was I don't know. I don't remember what I was going with that. But point being is that his costumes he would be put in for his character for his job was just the worst. I feel like. But okay. So Sector is actually code name for the unit LK-99. He was the first of the three prototype cybernetic ninjas built by the Lin Kuei. Sector was once a human assassin trained by the Lin Kuei. He volunteered for the automation team because his loyalty to the clan. Sector survived the outward invasion. He has no soul to take. And that is in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Now, another misconception that we need to address as well, because you see it in Defenders of the Rims, you see it in the MK9 and the new timeline, you see it in a lot of things. There was only three. There was only three robots, cyberpillars. There was never a whole army that they did already. There was only the three. Because as soon as Shao Kahn did it, as soon as Shao Kahn opened the portal, he strips everyone else's souls besides those three. So it just like it doesn't add up. But now they do it so it took place in MK2 instead of three. So they realized the plot hole and they fixed it, but it's just like why fix what's not broken. That's what we always say.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like they did a pretty decent job with these guys. Like, of course, people were pissed off because Scorpion wasn't there and all that stuff. But I mean, I think that these are two characters that, unfortunately, as time goes on, were definitely underused and undervalued. Because I think that I don't know. There's something about cyber ninjas that I think is still really really cool.
Well, we'll get into that as well before we talk about the story. But Sector's, by the way, his animality is a bat.
Yeah, I don't know what I can come up with for that, to be honest.
Really?
I
Okay.
mean, do you?
Nope.
Because I mean, like, bats don't teleport. As far as I know, he's not blind. Um, yeah, bats don't shoot missiles. Nothing comes to mind of why they would pick that. So I guess it was just kind of random. Shocker, right?
Next we
Animality is
have
random.
next we have Nightwolf. Which hold up, I'll just check this real quick. If it's not, I'm gonna be pissed.
If it's not what?
Okay, good. No, I want to say if Nightwolf wasn't a wolf, I want to be pissed.
That's like the only one they literally can't get wrong. Well, of course, Scorpion should have been a Scorpion,
Mm,
but then they fucked that up very bad. So, and Reptile was literally a reptile, and they fucked that up. So
no.
yeah, I stand corrected.
Works as a historian and preserver of his people's culture. When Khan's portal opened, the North America. Okay, fuck it. When Shao Kahn's portal opened over North America, Nightwolf used his magic to shaman and protect his tribe's sacred land. This area became a vital threat to Shao Kahn's occupation of Earth. So we don't know much about right now. We don't know much about Nightwolf, but we know that he's a shaman, a historian, and his power actually is one of the things that kept his. If he didn't know his power, how to use his powers and magic, then his whole tribe would have been vaporized instantly. But that's all I have to say about that.
Fair enough. Not much to say about Nightwolf. Never really been a big fan of him. I liked him in MK9. That's a story for a different day. But you know, overall, never really been a fan of him. MK3 didn't like using him.
All right, so next we have Shiva. Let's see. All right, and this is the moment we all been waiting for. Shiva was the scorpion in the game.
Oh, that's right.
That was her. That was her animality. Her animality. Her animality. You know, I almost want you to go find the clip from Annihilation.
Nope.
Every time we say animality, either A, we just repeat it, or I would say it and you repeat it two more times, or B, we just play it in the background. Let's do this one episode. Animality. Animality. Animality.
That would, I think, like, it's already rough to listen to two dumbasses like us talk for an hour. Imagine with that being in the background.
We can add one more.
With
But no, okay. Um, Shiva. She was handpicked by Shao Kahn to serve as Sindel's personal protector. She becomes suspicious of Shao Kahn's loyalty towards her race when her when he placed Matara, the leader of the Centaurs, to as an extermination squad. Okay, first of all, I just butchered this because I'm not sure why, but the point of this one is Shiva is handpicked to be the bodyguard of Sindel, but she also is angry because of the fact that Shao Kahn pretty much replaced their number two, the Shao Kahn's number two spot with their rivals. Which, and in his defense, when your people fuck me over twice, I don't really want to be screwed over a third time. But that's that.
Yeah, Shiva was
And
definitely one that I never really liked. I don't know. I just the way she played, her move set, her look, everything. Not a fan. To this day, I'm not a fan. Looks like she might be coming back eventually, maybe, but not excited about that. Next up should be, I'm gonna guess, Cabal, right?
I believe so, yes. Give
I
me
think
one
that's. I'm
second.
pretty sure that's all that we have, except for unless you want to count sub bosses.
No, we don't.
Yeah, nobody cares about Motaro.
Because later we just explained his story as well.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Cabal. Just before you go into his backstory and all that stuff, I think Cabal, when you look at him, he's like one of the most he's one of the most interesting, as in not really in a good way when you look at the select screen. Like everybody just kind of fits, and all of a sudden this guy's wearing like a not a hazmat. He's just wearing like a gas mask, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is that guy?" Then when you see him on screen actually playing, I mean, he was OP as hell if I remember correctly. Like him,
Oh yeah,
Jade, they were the two guys. They were the two characters that gave me the most problems by far. And I
Jade had just like not just Jade as a character, but AI Jade is just a bitch.
Yeah, AI Jade is way
Like,
harder than human controlled Jade. Like it's not even close. At least not the humans I was playing against.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a chosen warrior, his identity is a mystery to all. It is believed that he is a survivor of an attack by Shao Kahn's extermination squad as a result of uh, visually scarred to keep him alive. He's only kept alive by artificial respirator in the rage to end the Shao Kahn's conquest. So in this timeline, he is. Uh, I mean, the time part still matches up, but it's pretty much done by Motaro's people versus Kentaro, how he got injured. And instead of just being burned to death, it's scarred up to the point where, if without the respirator, he will die still.
Yeah.
Now that was one spooky motherfucker.
That's for goddamn sure. One of the creepiest guys in there, and he's one of the guys who I feel like got the biggest disservice later on in the series. But if we're just talking about
Mm.
MK3, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's a lot to like about him. Like, if you're playing as him, his gameplay was actually really fun. It was hard to use. I feel like he was one of the harder ones for me to get used to. But he was definitely one of the best ones if you could really start to get good at him. And just as a character overall, I mean, there wasn't a crazy amount to him because they never really built on him too much. But yeah, I feel like the base was all right.
Yeah. But I think there's only really one more character from there, like from this era, so from the whole MK3 thing.
Yeah,
So let me just go over there.
yeah. And afterwards, I want to ask you who your
So,
favorite new character is, but we'll do that after this.
so we have, well, in addition to all the other characters, though, we have to check on Rain, who technically was not in here, but I mean, whatever. In certain versions, he's in this game. But Rain, born of Katana's former world of Indinia, Rain was smuggled away from the realm as a small child. Wait, was smuggled away from the realm as a young child, shortly after Shao Kahn's takeover. Thousands of years later, he resurfaced, his alliance belonging to Shao Kahn. He chose to betray his homeland rather than suffer at the hands of Shao Kahn's extermination squad. So he has the Tanya look before Tanya made it look cool.
Basically.
Because betrays their own home. And actually no, it's not even like that. It's kind of right. I will say this. I think I mentioned this before, and I got the idea from. I want to say it was DC Cyborg from another cast. I'm going to say
Yep.
this because it does open up a better storyline this way. So technically, if anyone's truly the villain and out of the whole Edenia thing, it is really the royal family.
Hmm.
And this is why, because of the fact, think about it, look like this. Well, and yes, Katana didn't know this, I will say this. And let's use Sindel as a prime example. Sindel decided, instead of fighting for her people still as with resistance, to take her own life. And we already talked about how that's fucked. But, add this on as well. You come back to life and you're automatically the ruler again, even though you show no loyalty to your people for the past 10,000 years because you decided to kill yourself. While your daughter has been sitting above all of us and um, sitting a little bit high and mighty above all the rest of us. And her best friend is also getting to live in the life of luxury as well, while us peasants, i.e., Tanya, has to bust their ass and work for nothing. I mean, we may not like Tanya for what she does, but it's like she is technically not wrong. Like the way she goes about it is stupid about how to fix it, but Katana, as much as people love Katana and Sindel are really villains in a way,
Yeah, you can
and
see where
that's why I
Tanya's
like
coming from, basically.
yeah. Well, that's why I like the MKX, not MKX, the MK11 ending because even then they realize she's like, oh, I'm gonna bring back our world as Edenia and set us free. And then she realized that she didn't know none of the customs. She don't know nothing about her people. She just recently learned all this. Keep in mind. So, in a way, and I think Rain does exactly what Katana is supposed to be, should have, like what Katana is technically. I mean, he's a good version. He's an evil version of Katana.
Basically, yeah.
Where like you either a stick with the actual bad guy, which is Shao Kahn, but and betray your own people, or B, go by the way Tanya. There's three different ways you can look at it. You can be a Rain, where all right, I'm gonna stay loyal to Shao Kahn because I'd rather live than die by this guy's hand. You can be Tanya, where it's like I'm glad my people are free now, but we need a new ruler. We can't have these former Khans ruling over us anymore, like Katana and Sindel. Or you can go the way Katana did, and it's like I always didn't know none of this for the longest time. And I don't blame Katana for it, but it's like I didn't know none of this was actually going on. I thought I was just Outworld, not Edenia ever. But if that's the case, what makes you give you the right to rule over about the people you don't know? Well, let's just ask Bill and that Edenia thing, but it does bring up like a really good story that could have been done there. Just to
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah. I mean, like Edenia, as much as it's kind of frustrating to see the Edenia fetish people going way too nuts. Like I went on the comments yesterday. Like Ed Boon was watching Batman versus Superman or something that he posted, and the comments were nothing but Melina fans talking, just spamming him about
Where's
Melina.
Melina? Where's Melina coming?
Yeah, it's like fuck you, first of all. Second of all, like who nobody actually cares about Melina except for you dumbasses. Like right now, like I don't think really anybody is too upset if Melina doesn't come into the game except for the Melina stands. Um,
And my thing with that too in the game, like how it is right now, do you really want that?
yeah, like who she's not really needed
You might as well just wait. You might as well just wait till the next game.
basically because she's gonna be in there for sure.
Most likely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Reboot or not, she's gonna be in there.
yeah. But yeah, I think Adenia is like despite the problems with the fan base, it's definitely the most compelling or one of the most compelling realms in Mortal Kombat, and it's the one that has the best potential for storylines and alternative storylines. Like we talk about Fire and Ice in a game like that, but like honestly, a game with Katana and Jade wouldn't be too bad either. Or a game with Katana and Melina wouldn't be too bad. So I feel like there's plenty you can do with Adenia. And one interesting thing to say about Rain is that a lot like Tanya, she's named after Ed Boon's sister, or Noob Saibot, who is named after, of course, Ed Boon and John Tobias. Um,
Or Sonya's
yeah,
named after his sister as well.
yeah. Rain is of course named after the legendary song made by Prince, "Purple Rain," and that was apparently he was listening to it one day or something like that, and he thought, wouldn't it be kind of funny to just have a purple ninja in MK named Rain? And that's basically how it started. So a lot of these characters, like in
Eh,
kind of like in
there's some
Dragon Ball.
bullshit before that.
Yeah, that's true. But kind of like in Dragon Ball, where everybody's named after vegetables and stuff like that. In Mortal Kombat, they're pretty much named after Boone's brothers and sisters or friends.
Yeah. Well, I say this because of the fact that, and literally in the promotional work for MK3, Ultimate MK3, they show a clip of Rain, but he's nowhere to be found in the game. So that's the bullshit. I mean, like, so there's some bullshit there beforehand. Before it's like, you can't just like, oh, like he was always gonna be in the game. Like, no, like they fucked everyone over first, then they decided to put him in the game when everyone demanded him.
Yeah,
So
which
that's
is
why we
kind of
have
classic,
trilogy.
classic
MK.
midway
Well,
slash nether realm, I guess.
another round.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh no, at least back then they listened to you. This day and age they don't.
Nowadays they only listen to Warner Brothers, the overlords.
Okay. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and go to the next new ninja, which is Ermac.
Yes.
Okay.
Who, by the way, is also
And
his name is based off of. In this case, it's a
glitch.
glitch. Yeah,
And
Ermac.
I
Ermac.
mentioned we mentioned that MK1,
Yeah.
where it was like it said Ermac was they thought everyone thought Ermac was a character, and they said, oh, it's a red ninja, but realistically it was just a era macro. That's what it meant. But okay, so let's see. Enigma who to all comes to contact with him. Alright. Ermac's past remains shouldered in the shouldered in mystery. It is believed that he exists as life force brought together by the souls of extinguished outward warriors. Shao Kahn has managed to take possession of the souls and use them to fight on his side of tyranny. So literally, and this is what everyone knows, this is why he always says we or well that's what he said. Also he always speaking in the word as we are one. We are many, you are but one, or we do not agree with this. Or stuff like that. Or us, that's the other one I'm thinking of. We are us. But the problem, and that's the thing too, like when you come into a new game, you are just like a regular ninja, and you don't have an actual role. You are just known as Shao Kahn's side project. That is literally what you are.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
And this is well, oh wow, so this is literally the same bullshit. Okay, so new Cybot's there as well. He actually gets the bio this time around. New Cybot emerges from the darkness of a region of reality, a region known as another realm, which is hell. So he belongs to a group called the Brotherhood of Shadows and worship the evil mystery fallen elder god. His mission is to spy on the events taking place in the battle between the realms and report it back his leaders. Which, like I said, is not as bad, but at least there's something. Again, he actually has a role. By the way, too, in this version, in the vanilla version of Mortal Kombat 3, New Summit is in the game still. However, his sprite, since there was no ninjas, was Kano.
Mm. That's right. It was just blacked out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like an all black Kano, and like there's some codes you can put in so you can play as that version in MK Ultimate, I believe. But you really wanna?
Yeah. Probably not. No. I never did anyway.
All right. And last but not least, Jade. When the renegade princess makes her escape into unknown regions of Earth, Jade is appointed by Shao Kahn to bring her back alive. Once her close friend of Once a close friend of the princess, she's faced the choice of betraying her friend or disobeying her emperor. So just out of curiosity, I'm just gonna check this over and see what it says. Okay. Oh, that is what happens. Shit. Okay. Um, and we can get started on stories in a little bit right now, in a second. But um, I'm pretty sure you listened to the lost version, the lost retrospective of Reptile.
Of course. One of the best ones.
Okay, okay. So we'll talk about the all the moving parts of this story first, and then we'll get onto why that's so fucking hilarious to me. In a second. So, listen, in this story, this story does better writing than most TV shows nowadays. I'm going to say that right now.
I mean, John
So let's see.
Tobias. He was really for what he was working with. He did a hell of a job with the trilogy.
Oh yeah. And now it's just like and even like the storytelling now with just like the game, I feel like in all media, like I think this is like some of the best story because they actually have moving parts and they all like concluded to a point as
Yeah,
well.
they did a good job of actually closing stuff out as opposed to just kind of leaving them open and never actually getting to them, as they tend to do with
Mm,
pretty much all media nowadays.
yeah. All right. So let's go from here. So for centuries, I'm going to just read each spot and pretty much go. For centuries, Earth has used Mortal Kombat to defend itself from Outworld, from Outworld's Emperor Shao Kahn. But Khan becomes frustrated by failed attempts by taking Earth through tournament battles. He's enacting a plan which began 10,000 years ago. During this time, Shao Kahn had a queen. Her name was Sindel. Her young death was unexpected. Khan's shadow priest, led by Sing Song, make it possible for Sindel's spirit to someday be reborn. Not not on the outworld, but on Earth realm itself. This unholy act gives Shao Kahn power to step through dimensional gates and reclaim his queen, thus enabling him to finally seize Earth realm. Upon breaching the portal into Earth, Shao Kahn slowly transformed the planet into a part of our world itself. Khan strips the Earth soul all the sorry, strips Earth of all human life, claiming every soul as his own. But there are souls which that Khan cannot take. These souls belong to the warriors chosen to represent Earth in the new Mortal Kombat. The remaining humans are scattered through the planet, and Khan sends his army of fierce outworld warriors, say that 3 times fast, to find and eliminate them. So that's pretty much the general story of what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, that's kind
Now
of
there's a
the basis. Yeah.
yeah. Now there's about I want to say 4 to 5 other storylines that are going on as well. The first one being after the first tournament, Sonya Blade turned up missing. Jax embarked on a rescue mission into our world. He found Sonya being held captive with her nemesis Kano. In freeing Sonya, Jax also frees Kano and then uses the chance to escape arrest. So there are two things going on. So Jax and Sonya are trying to catch Kano again, but he escapes like always. And instead of worrying about Kano after they get back to Earth, we're like, oh shit, she's about to go down. We need to go warn our our higher officers about what's going on, and need to tell them, hey, there's an interdimensional place that's going to try to invade us soon. We need to prepare because our world was already working on this long before they failed at the second tournament. And everyone laughed in their faces that, oh yeah, that's cute. You guys are fired now, pretty much. They didn't fire them, but they decided to like pretty much get the hell out of our face.
Pretty much as
Yeah,
close to
which is
firing as you can get.
reasonable. Yeah, which is reasonable. I mean, if someone walked up and told you, "Hey, there's a place called Alvor, and they're going to invade us soon," as much as you would want to believe them because you love Mortal Kombat, you're going to tell them get the hell out of your face.
Yeah, basically.
Exactly.
No chance I'm believing that.
Until after it happens, and like, oh,
Oops.
you gotta find that guy because then you go meet these people now.
Yeah.
Okay. The ultimate advancement of the Lin Kuei technology comes to the creation of the first cyber assassin. They begin converting their human ninjas into soulless machines. But Sub-Zero refuses to take part in this and is now marked for death. So that does not mean that that's not how he got his scar. That is literally means that there is a hit on him to go kill this guy, kill Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Everyone those things up. I was like, no, it's just to go kill this guy. And that's what we are discussing, where where the cyber ninjas come in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sector was the first one, Cyrix the second, Smoke was the third, and he is the best friend of Sub-Zero. And Sector is cold hearted. So fuck you very much.
Basically.
After winning the first tournament, the first Mortal Kombat, and escaping from Outworld, Liu Kang looks toward the future and begins training a new generation of Shaolin alongside Kung Lao. But nothing could prepare them for the unexpected Outworld invasion, which is weird because of the fact that Katana does warn them as well that this is going to happen.
Yeah, they technically know about it before it happens, so it's not really unexpected.
Yeah. Oh, and no, it's not Richard Divisio as the robots. It's Sal Delita.
Oh, Sal Davis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Richard Divisio with Shao Kahn.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
never that. Richard Divisio was just Kano and Cabal.
Who the fuck was... Oh,
Shao Kahn was Brian
that's right.
Griven,
Yeah.
but so that's done with that. The general story from that one. Then you have let's see who else is involved. You have the Sheila and Kintaro, not Kintaro, the Shokan and the Shao Kahn storyline, which in that format we already mentioned that she's already pissed off with Shao Kahn for underestimating her people. So she is trying to set up an assassination plan to kill Motaro and Shao Kahn. After that's done, so we have that's what left 4 stories. Let's see if there's anyone else I'm missing.
Yeah, I would say it's almost certainly the one, one of the one of the deepest storylines in all of MK. And
Oh yeah,
definitely gaming at the time, and especially fighting games, there was no way in hell you had something so deep.
yeah. And the last big story, because like we can say that the sixth one with Melina and New Cybot, who are working for Shinnok, but I don't really look at that right now as much of a story because they don't have much of a presence to the actual MK3 story besides being spies. So no one knows that they exist right now.
Yeah, still really forgotten.
So yeah. So in this case, the only last story we have is the Katana Reptile. All right, the Katana Sindel and the Katana Sindel story, which is obviously mother daughter, and Katana's trying to save and redeem her mother from everything she did. Like I don't think it's still. I still think it's right what Sindel did, but Katana's trying to rectify it and bring her out of her brainwashing at least.
Yeah,
And the other thing on that backside is that Jade is. So this is why I was laughing as well. So we read Jade's story where she is told to bring back Katana alive, and Katana, and she's like conflicted. Like, do I listen to my emperor? Do I listen to my best friend? What do I do? What do I do? And then you read Reptiles, and there's the thing too. So I'm gonna read it off to you, and you tell me if you know why I'm laughing my ass off about this.
because Reptile gets fucked up.
Oh yeah, that's part of the reason, but the way that Razor and Shad just describe the story is hilarious to me. But let's go off this real quick. Always a reliable servant, that's debatable, to Shao Kahn, Reptile is chosen to assist Jade in the capture of Katana. In contrast to Jade's instruction, Reptile is ordered to stop the renegade princess at any cost, even if it means her death. So, the way they tell the story is hilarious. And I'm going to try to tell it the best way I can myself. You have Reptile, so you have Katana is already is like Sub Zero, has a hit out on her pretty much right now because she is being so stuff that happened between the last game and this game. We have to the other one we just discussed. Katana also killed Melina, so that's why she's working with Shinnok. But that's why the High Council have put either not an assassination, but just like Katana is meant to sit trial. Now, I don't think our world has a court system like the United States or Italy, but she's set trial. She's standing trial. That being said, she already ran. As we discussed it, Reptile and Jay are both sitting out there. So the way that they describe the story is always headcanon, but you can kind of see the way they do Reptile why this would be the fact as well. You have Jay and Reptile in the room, and Chacon's like, Jay, I miss my daughter, and she killed my other daughter, but she has to like you can see where it's fair. She needs to stand trial. You can't just let her go cold blooded murder. So just go get her and just bring her back to life. She's your best friend. She'll listen to you. Just bring her back, and we all try to talk this out together, okay? And we're gonna send Reptile with you. He can help you along, okay? Go ahead and get ready. Hey, Reptile, I know I said bring back Katana alive, but I mean, I did train her for the past 10,000 years. She's literally my best assassin. So she most likely will give a fight. So if she does, you don't have to bring her back alive, but she just has to be punished for what she did. So
Basically.
I'm not saying kill her, but if she dies, I'm not going to be upset. That means I lose 2 daughters, and I lost my favorite one, so that's okay with me. That's pretty much what Shao Kahn told Reptile. So the way that they think it happened after that is like, Jay's trying to talk Katana. Katana's like, no, 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 like fuck him. He pretty much he lied to me for 10,000 years. You know how long 10,000 years is? That's
Long ass
ten
time.
thousand years worth of years. But that's 10,000 years worth of years. Um, and they think that Reptiles got tired of Jay trying to convince her that fuck it, Shotgun told me to kill her anyway. It's like, wait, what? So I literally see Reptile blurring it out that he was given different orders than Jade, and that's why he got jumped by Time and Jade. And
Always
that's
has
why
a
I
reason.
laughed as well. Well, that's why I laughed at the fact it said that he's always been um, a reliable servant. I'm like, that is debatable as fuck, but
Yeah,
okay.
considering he's trash.
Well, he failed to protect Sting Sung at the tournament. He failed to win the tournament of MK2. He failed to bring back somebody to prison or kill them at least, and just blur that out. So you kind of see where no, I don't want. I wouldn't trust him with anything other than being the spot. This is the only thing he's good at. I feel like he will be the guy to be invisible in a quiet library, sneaking on somebody, and be the guy who sneezes.
The guy who sneezes. That's a hell of a role to
Well,
have.
think about it. So, I'll show you that. We'll talk about this offline. But it's like, you ever seen the show Total Drama Island before? I'm not sure if that's there.
I don't think so, no.
All right. Well, there's this psychopath on the show. Her name is Izzy, and there's an even bigger psychopath named Chef, who's the chef of the camp.
Okay.
And instead of having a regular child, and pretty much Total Drama Island is a spin-off, not spin-off, but a parody of Survivor.
Ah, okay. I think, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, there's an episode when they have like a water gun fight, and she's hiding in the. It's like hide and seek, but with water guns. And she's hiding on the ceiling at the main I'm trying to think what it's called, the cafeteria, pretty much. When she's smart at first, and then she sneezes, and then she's like, "Oh, I guess she heard that." And she starts fighting him afterwards. Like I'll send you this clip of it later. But my point being is that would be Reptile, but Reptile, I don't think he will win that fight. Like, I can seriously see him like sneak up on Sonya, and then he like step on a twig, and Sonya just pull out a machine gun and just like shoot him up.
I mean, that would be the most reptile thing possible.
That's so Reptile. All in all, that's the story, and that's where we get there it goes. And like I said, we will like sum up what happens on the next story, on the next game. But pretty much what happens is Liu Kang beats Shao Kahn, doesn't kill him again. We gotta work on this guy's passiveness. He can't be doing this and trying to save the world. He doesn't kill him. His best friends almost die. He still doesn't kill him. Then, after they defeat Shao Kahn and separate the worlds, not only all the souls return back to Earth, but Edenia is now split off as well from our world, and Sindel's come back to is alive, but she now has the Banshee scream, and she also has um, no longer under my control.
Yeah, she's gained a few moves, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if that's the case, I wouldn't die and come back to life.
Come back stronger.
Yeah. But no, all that being said, though, it's like, it's one of those things that everyone has a happy ending except a few. So to
Yeah.
pretty much come to run out those stories, but just so we can like smooth them all out, going to the 3D era next. Like I said, Shao Kahn gets defeated and he retreats back to our world, and he is wounded going forward. Like he's not even involved in MK4 at all. So the Sonya Jax and Kano storyline they do end up. Kano has that last climactic ending with Kano, where he's getting ready to kill her, and then she does the leg grab and throws him off the roof. So in her mind, Kano's dead, which is why I can't wait for. I really can't wait for MK4 because we can talk about those endings.
Yeah,
We can talk
they're
about those endings
truly
so
special.
much.
So funny.
But Sonya is convinced that Kano is dead, therefore the Black Dragon is dead because in MK1, the Black Dragon was close to extinction because, well, he's a terrible leader. But Mutaro is going across the ground of New York City and he sees Kano laying down. He saves him. He rushes back to our world. Then he throws him in prison for failing. And this is the most Kano thing ever, though, right here. She was kind of like pities him, and she's like, "No, I have a plan to get you. I can let you free if you help me with my plan. It's to save her to free Outworld a little bit more, and you can you'll be free, and you can go back doing what you do best." They didn't really give him any power, so she's like, "Yeah, I'm a part of it. I'll help you." So in Kale's eye, an eye for an eye, pretty much. So she frees him, and she helps him, and he helps her to kill Mutaro. Because that's remember it's their biggest competition. And then Kato is so smart. He's like, you know what? I got you. I'm gonna go warm him up and try to get his defenses down, and you will come up and just kill him, okay? Smart plan. Don't see where it can go wrong. Except Kano will take the same knife you give him to eat his dinner with and stab you in the back and the front, slit your throat, and stab you in the back again.
He's not the most trustworthy person that you could choose to team up with, is he?
He literally tells Shao he snitches out Sheila. So when Sheila comes in to find Shao Kahn, he's like I literally see him like on the side. I don't know why, but I picture him hiding like right behind her, like right behind like a little door. Right, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So like when you try to creep up and you try to hide somebody, you hide behind the door at first.
Yeah.
I literally see Shao Kahn like standing up as tall as he is with his hammer, getting ready for it to walk through. It's like and like boom, you're dead. Either with the hammer or with the sword. But I feel like it's the hammer, and you squashes her with it.
That's an interesting
And
thing to imagine, yeah.
here's the thing: Reptile's on a mission. He failed at it. Sang Song can't be trusted, and he's out in there fighting still though. Melina's dead. Katana betrayed him. Jade's betrayed him. Sindel's betrayed him.
I mean,
Wataro's dead.
Shao Kahn chooses the worst possible people to ever team up with. Everybody fucks him over.
Well, here's the thing: because everyone is dead or on a mission, Kano's his new general.
That's a yeah. That's that's what you want to be leading everything, huh?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Okay, so we have the Cyberlink and throughout everything, and I need to figure out a little bit more. I need to go back and read this when it comes to MK4 or MK Deadly Alliance because I don't even think I've unlocked Cyrex yet on those. But Sub Zero does come in that confrontation with Smoke, and he's able to convince to freeze, not say free his soul, but make his soul reappear up into the front of his consciousness past the programming.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, he's able to those two team up against Sector and Cyrax. And in the end, Sector is defeated and I think sent back to um, the Lin Kuei. And Cyrax, when after they defeat Cyrax, he is drifted off into the deserts of Earthrealm. That's why he's in the little wasteland
Yeah,
part.
that's why you see him there.
Yeah. And what else? Oh, and Smoke is after they defeat Shao Kahn, he is unfortunately sent over to Outworld where his soul can't be taken for some reason. Yet he's still robotic, so he is just put down on shutdown. So in a way, I guess they like just removed his batteries. 'Cause it was the '90s, and I don't think they had power cords. I think they just
Probably
had
not. No.
batteries. They got his D batteries, and he take him out. Um, Jeez, what's next? But yeah, um, I think that covered all the stories.
Yeah, there's nothing I can really think of. It's other than that. No.
Now, and this is where I think, because I think we hit all our points as well this time as well. But my point going forward, like, or my closing remarks at least, it's a great game, gameplay wise, story wise, that we just discussed it because we have many moving factors and they all round it off in a big way. And they even set up the next villain and the endings of some people. But the problem was a bunch of the new characters. And this is something, the trend that will keep going forward with. And I mean by that is either A, the new characters would be introduced and they'd be really cool looking, but they won't be used ever. They won't be used again for most people in this game for 1, 2, 3 games into the future. And most of them are locked anyway. The only characters who get reused going forward in a quicker standpoint, and I can honestly say, one person who gets reused again from MK4 to MK3 to MK4 is Cyrex on the patch. You can say Sector as well, but Sector is a hidden character, so he's not even really there either.
Yeah, it doesn't technically count.
Yeah. Um, People who are missing from MK3 to MK4. Let's see. I'm not going to pull up both lists. I'm going to just honestly pick up three and go from there. Um, and I'm going to include gold as well. So we are missing Nightwolf, new side of Cybots there. Nightwolf, Rain, Ermac, Striker, Sindel, Shiva, Cabal, Smoke. You can throw in Sing Song as well if you really want to, but yeah, all those people are missing. Those are all a bunch of new characters. The only people who can go forward is the two robots, the two cyborgs.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like you nailed it. Like that's perfect kind of the way to close it out with our closing thoughts. I mean, yeah,
Well,
there's
that's my point though. Like, there's a little thing we can talk about right there because the fact that not only that's a trend that goes on forward because they would do the same thing in MK4 to those characters, bring in whole new characters and not use none of them in the next game at all, really, besides Quan Chi. And then after that, same thing with Deadly Alliance and Deception. And I say some of these people, like at least the people who I know came back in Deception, which are Nightwolf, Sindel, Cabal. Yeah, those are only ones. They come back, yes, that's nice. The problem is, like for example, um, Striker, as much shit we give him, he does not get a revamped costume or um, he doesn't get a revamped costume or come back to the game until 2006. And MK3, the original one, it came out in 1994. So over a decade, he doesn't get used.
yeah,
And for the characters who do get used in MK Deception, it takes a whole decade. I
yeah,
know a lot of people who go.
and there's only so much you can do in a game or two games.
I mean, and I think too, you can't get mad at who don't like a character if they don't try to do anything.
Yeah.
You can't say this character's trash if you don't do anything special with them. So, for example, a very prime example would be Fuji. Character's super cool. Everyone always wanted him, but they bitched out, and when it came down to MK2, MK Deadly Alliance. So that's a good example of a cool character that has potential. Same thing with Reiko. Everyone saw Reiko. He had potential. He was going to be the next Shao Kahn reincarnated, but they didn't pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
And like I said, a prime example of like characters who suck and they have potential to be good, but they decide to do nothing with it, would be Kai, for example.
Could have been the next Liu
He
Kang.
he was supposed to be, but instead they let Liu Kang say no to Tom's proposal. Blah. You say it, I can't at this point.
Proposal.
There we go. He says no to that, and he sticks around longer instead of Kai doing so.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like you bring up the perfect points. Kai. So many of these characters. Havoc comes to mind as well. So many characters with a lot of potential. They just never really develop them, and it's a running problem. We have it to this day, and it definitely started off with this. Yeah, I would love to see Smoke come back and have something interesting happen to him. Rain, Sindel come back decently. Of course, Sector and Cyrax need to come back eventually. So yeah, this was a great game in terms of building the basis for gameplay for the future of MK, and I think this is probably the peak, maybe Deadly Alliance, where there's so many things that are happening in the background, so many different plots, and it's a
Oh
shame
no,
that.
like that happens all the way up until I say even past Armageddon was where it stopped. After that, it's where it stopped.
Yeah, but I feel like Armageddon, the story, it was already starting to take, its dips in quality and stuff like that. I mean, this is where it was still really, really good, and it had so much stuff behind it. Whereas later on, there was a lot of stuff, but it wasn't really. I don't know. It just wasn't really leading to anything great anyway. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
We can
Well, I
discuss
agree with that.
individual things with each specific game. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I will say to this though too is when you are kind of on, and this is a problem as well. I say with this game, and this is what I would kind of close off with for sure. I wanted to mention that as a talking point, but this is what I would say going forward. Just because someone has a sketch, you make a sketch for someone, doesn't mean that it's the right thing for it.
Yeah.
Yes, we wanted MK11. Look what we got because we were so desperate to have a game on the same schedule we had for the past 8 years. Which, on one hand, yes, that's on them for doing something like that. But it's like we did that because we had the equipment and we were ready to do that. There was nothing inside in stone. It's like, oh, this is what we do now. It was well assumed, and they knew it was well assumed as well. So we'll say that like we knew that, but the problem wasn't even the fact that the game was quote unquote late. The problem was that we had no idea what was going on at all. And when you pretty much like set it up like that and give us no news to go off of, or at least I think that for they could gave us some. Here's the thing, and we'll get into this as well when we finally get to MKX. So we are going to do that before we are going to talk about MKX before we see that movie, point blank. But what I'm saying is, well, they could have done more stuff for MKX and supported that game a little bit more, while they're working on a game to make it perfect for MK11. Because they were making new characters for the mobile game, and they were making new costumes for the mobile game, but we had nothing going forward from MKX, and Justin 2 was already beyond dead. So we were just wanting something, but when you pretty much give us nothing for two games that really needs either a gameplay shift, which MKX didn't, but here's the thing. Injustice 2 and MK11 are prime example of a great roster but shitty gameplay.
Yeah.
MKX is a great example of great gameplay but a shitty roster. and they could have, and we told them who we wanted from day one. We want fusion. Give us fusion. Do this. Do that. We want cyborgs. Give us cyborgs, which they gave us that. Don't get me wrong. They gave us cyborg, and I love that. That was probably the smartest thing. And honestly, out of all the ninjas, I kind of like Sector the most. Sector and Smoke the most because they actually have the most development, and you can build something off of them versus just being Sub-Zero's friend or another Special Forces guy. And Sector is like, all right, he's the actual villain. You can build him into actually being someone, and then do a whole story where they split the minds up of the three of them.
Yeah,
Just
I've always
saying.
felt the same way. Sector is by far the best of the cyber ninjas.
Yeah. But that's
Sector
what I
then
mean, though. Like,
Cyrax.
yeah. But I'm saying that's my point. That you can even do Triborg that way, and say like not just like their mood copy into one, but their emotions, their souls, whatever you want to say, all copied into the Triborg. Sector was the strongest of all of them, so that's why he's the one front runner. But they didn't do that either, and that's why I said like MK11 and Injustice 2 are like prime examples of great rosters, and we love the roster. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can't say one bad thing about the roster, but gameplay was bad.
Yep.
The gameplay was great in Mortal Kombat X, but there's so many people we didn't want in that game. And when they literally pulled Boraicho instead of Fusion, I think that's where it's like, okay, that's where I draw the line on caring. But like that's a story for other days. But that's my point, though. Like going forward, they decided they would start something that would be really cool, something really grand, and they just don't ever like pursue it.
They never pursue it. They never give them the characters a chance to grow. They literally just never build on the basis of the foundations that they build.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
And it's like, well, and there everyone would tell them too. It's like, well, I kind of like that, but okay, I guess we'll go with this instead.
Yeah, we'll just do something different, make something new again.
And let's see, now we're starting over again. But,
Yeah.
okay,
All
but
right. Well,
on the brighter note now, like I said, MK3, even though I don't have any personal attachment besides the fact that I did do a fatality for the first time last year, I said a great game all around for Ultimate MK. MK3 itself, vanilla MK3. Ultimate MK3, great game. Trilogy is just, I mean, you didn't really talk much about it, but it's literally just a bunch of, it's like Smash Bros. You just throwing everything at there at once. It's like Armageddon #1, actually.
basically.
It's literally the end of the world. Everyone comes back alive to fight. So even Johnny Cage comes back in Trilogy, but he literally comes back and says, alright, I'm going to die. Go out to the sunset. And he's back by MK4. Ooh, spoiler alert, but
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
Wow. I can't believe you just did that, honestly.
But no, yeah. But it's a great concept, and I like the gameplay. Well, yeah, I would like to get to know the gameplay better. I'm not gonna say I like it because I haven't get to sit down and play it because there's so many other games I'd rather play.
Well, I mean, it makes sense.
But
It's a game from 1994, and there's so much else to do, so much else to
yeah,
play. So it makes sense. Let's just say if you're playing it right now, like if you have to choose between playing a classic Mortal Kombat game, this is definitely the one to play if you're just looking for gameplay. Um,
if you
and
actually
I
want
guess
a
roster
game to
too.
play, if you want to just if you like Mortal Kombat, you can play 2 and 1 all day long. If you
Yeah,
want to actually play a video game that has that needs actual skill to be good at, and not just spamming the same special moves over and over again,
yeah. MK3 is the
then
one.
yeah, MK3 is definitely yeah. Which, by the way, everyone always talking about how they had trouble fighting Jade. I never had an issue with fighting Jade as AI.
Because you never played it.
No, I actually did.
Really?
I can beat. Well, I never played it on hard. That's just
Yeah.
being stupid.
Yeah, Jade was a
Even
monster for me.
so, one last thing I want to mention about MK3. I realized after going through the whole thing, we forgot Trilogy. That was one thing you said at the beginning we're going to talk about. Um, Not much to say, but the fact that trilogy was like one of the versions that were just at home, the home version, and it was the Nintendo 64, I believe, that got two original new characters, Chameleon with a C and Chameleon with a K. Well, as cool as Chameleon with a C is, he doesn't really have a bio or story because of the fact he literally gets the same thing that everyone else gets when they start. A warrior of Shao Kahn who would do anything to protect his master.
Just a run of the mill
Literally,
reptile storyline.
Reptile Scarlet's first original storyline. Um, kind of, or Max original I think was that too, MK3. So MK3 Ultimate. So I
Yeah,
mean, they said that he was what he was like made out of soul, but it's his thing is from saying like he works for Shao Kahn. That's all.
yeah. It seems like this is like one of the things that they like to do the most in terms of storylines. Might just because it's like pretty easy to do and it's just kind of basic, but it's
Yeah.
been consistently one of their most prominent storylines.
Well, it's, I mean, I get it though because of the fact that when you have characters and you're adding characters like that left and right, first of all, it's kind of hard to um, keep track of who's like if you literally add a character. This is trilogy though, so this is after they made three, then they remade it and made Ultimate Three, and that would have been a good thing right there. Then remade it again to add every character in there. And now we have Camilla with the K and Camilla with the C, but those are only like Nintendo exclusives. But when I click on her on Warehouse, though, she doesn't have an ending. And someone else, I just realized it was on the trilogy roster. Nope, that's the same thing. Um, well, I just saw that Baraka was on there too on the trilogy roster, but if I'm not mistaken, because the same outfit as well as Baraka was wearing. I think they gave him the same exact ending as well. Yep, so nothing to add to reference of there, but one thing, so Camilo the Sea, he has no role. He's just there. And down the line, he'll get a really cool costume, and everyone would like him, but it's like we will never see him again.
Yeah.
Um, Camille with the K, she actually does play a role. Um, Not much bio wise in this game or ending, but at least when it comes to the future, we learn that and at some point in MK3, she does meet up with Reptile. And Reptile is the last Saurian, or
Sorry. Yeah.
whatever, yeah, sorry, yeah, right. And she's the last female Saurian. So she's like, hey, you know that Shao Kahn has been pretty much killing our people off for years and millenniums by now, and with your help, we can probably end him, and we can start repopulating our race again. And this is why I like. You ever have that kid that you just love so much that you just want to strangle them?
Not really. Not that I
Well, that
know.
makes sense. We neither one of us have kids, but that's what Reptile is.
That's an interesting reference, or interesting way to put it.
Well, they're like this. So he's been played so many times, and it's either like Stockholm syndrome. So when you have here's this. You have a friend who's in a terrible relationship. You know they're in a terrible relationship. They know they're in a terrible relationship. Everyone else knows, and even though they know as well, they convince themselves that it's their fault and they can make this person better. So I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but that's pretty much what happened because you also find out that again, this is a full-grown woman of your same race, and she wants to repopulate with you. Not only out of necessity, but she actually wants to. And guess what Reptile does?
He blows it.
Yep, he chickens out. He said, "Yes, let's do it." Right when they get ready to, he chicken out, and Chameleon barely escapes with her life.
Yeah, unfortunately, he'll
Now,
he'll never get laid. This poor bastard.
oh yeah, and that's what we were hoping. I think let's just like, wow, like, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't mean like as a child you want to strangle them, but I mean talk about like, so your best friend that has Stockholm syndrome. Like, you want to support them, and you because they're your friend, but it's like, fuck that shit.
That I
And
can
that's what
relate to.
Reptile does. Okay. Well, that's what I really say. I said kid, but neither one of us have kids, so kind of hard
I
to.
guess my cat, maybe. There are times where I want to strangle him.
There we
So
go.
there you go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and one of the knocked over recently. I don't know if I even told you. Recently he like tried to attack a cat that was outside, and in doing so he jumped off where I have my TV. He knocked over my TV, my Xbox, and he completely destroyed my TV. So I wanted to. I definitely wanted to strangle him then. So right now I'm having to use a small ass TV that's hung up high up on the wall, so it's a pain in the ass for me to do anything. But yeah, that's definitely about it. I just want to add one thing about Chameleon. I actually kind of, like you said, there wasn't really too much to the male Chameleon. It was basically just kind of like a throwaway character. But the female one, I liked the fact that they did eventually do something with her, and that they gave her a bit of a storyline. It's just unfortunate that she's one of those characters that, like we've kind of discussed throughout the last couple of episodes, is that every time they release something or every time they put out a new character, they just continue to basically shit the bed and not actually do anything with them. They don't really progress them as
No,
much as they should.
now hold on a minute. I don't want to give them too much credit to say that they did this intentionally, because this was pretty much this was the first ever, in more comeback history at least, um, console exclusive.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why no one really much thought much of her. But when Armageddon came out and Chameleon with the C was in it, he was there for the um, Xbox and PlayStation. Chameleon with a K wasn't. And it wasn't until the Nintendo Wii came out and they did that whole let's do more comeback but with the Wii. Because oh, so a smart idea. They then written a backstory and bio for her for that.
Yeah,
So
actually,
that's the only way she.
now that I think about it, sorry to interrupt you. I feel like when I really started to get a bit more interested in her was when I think it was on YouTube where they had the whole series with the bios and stuff like that, and that was one of the ones they had. And they
Mm,
had I can't remember who was doing the actual video itself. I don't think it was Ed Boon, but it may have been where he was actually doing the
it might have
controls.
been if it wasn't some of them. I think John Tobias was not John Tobias.
John Vogel.
Vogel was in the but
Yeah,
yeah.
but it was one where they were actually using the Wiimote or whatever it's called to do the moves and stuff like that. They were showing some of the combos and special moves, and I was just like, oh, thank God I don't own a Wii. I that it was it I can't even imagine playing that game with a Wii.
Oh, I can tell you right now that it was nothing special at all. If anything, it was more annoying.
I can imagine. Get the movement slightly off, and it's just gonna completely ruin everything.
Well, it was like, well, we need to stop because we can't get too much into
That's true.
gameplay of the
That's true.
future.
That's true. We'll talk about that
But
with Armageddon.
in the future, where we will have space flying cars and bullshit,
Yes,
lots and lots of bullshit for
that's for
everyone.
sure. All right, is that it for Chameleon, or
Yeah, that's
it's pretty
all. That's
much?
all I can say about trilogy. Because
I don't really have anything to add. Yeah.
other than the fact Johnny Cage came back to life as well, but we've discussed that
Yeah.
already. It's not. It wasn't. He came back to life just to help out, and he went back. He it doesn't make sense, so that's why I'm not going to mention it. Because he literally came back to life to help out, and he died again.
Yeah, that's always been an interesting thing. I think we talked about that a little bit early on, but
Yeah.
didn't really talk about that part, the fact that he came back just to die. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but all right.
No, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, me too. So that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let us know in the comments anything that you would like to like I said, talk about in the next one. And anything that we may have missed or anything you want us to kind of talk about in the comments alongside, we'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Yeah, and that's that's a wrap for this one. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next episode.
Later.
See you guys.